All right, all right, all right. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome in. You found us once again. Welcome into the huddle. Shoot the gap. The fantasy football focused show span the generation gaps of the 20s, 30s, and 40s. We said we'd be here after the season. We're here, the fantasy football season. I am your humble MC, Brian the Amigo Baldwin. And it's my honor, my pleasure to introduce the author. Yes, the published author, Connor, the Gut Marshall. How you doing, my brother?
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for the shout out. I appreciate it.
Yeah. You need to go make sure and go check his book out. What's the title, dude? Talk about it a little bit.
It's called You Know Too Much. It's actually kind of sports related. It's about a guy I met at church, and he used to play football. He used to play for Penn State. Go ahead and check it out. I'll put the link below in the description. You Know Too Much.
Yeah, it's on Kindle. I've already bought my copy, so go out and get yours, man. You'll be happy you did. Yeah, of course, man. The accomplished. Look at that, dude. I've got an author in the house, and of course, we got a doc in the house. The doc is here. Ethan, the Doc Marshall. Ethan, my brother, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Just trying to enjoy the new year.
Yeah,
we're trying. Been a crazy couple of days, man.
Yeah, but that's why we're here. We're here to make you, forget about all that, just at least for, an hour, whatever.
You know what? If all else fails, we know what the number one Halloween costume is going to be this year.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, I have my Denver gear on because it feels like Colorado outside, man. Yeah, feels good. No. Love it. Who you repping there, Ethan? With that shirt?
Oh, it's Rockets.
No, but it says RW and 0.
Yeah, I know. It's an old shirt. It has Russell Wilson.
Doesn't John Wall wear 0 now though, or does he wear 1?
I don't remember. I have no idea. This is the only Rockets shirt I have. So
speaking of the Rockets, our show is now sponsored by a strip club. I'm joking.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is the 46th show, guys. January 9th in this hopeful year of our Lord. And this is going to be our first show, since the 2020 football season ended. And, we got a little bit of a, some good news there that happened with some of our seasons, but not with all of ours. However, we all three did make it to the championship round. So, basically, we that second place, that's an accomplishment because what we talked about before, it's a game of luck. And to get to the championship game is skill. Okay, if you win it, that's luck. But to get there is skill. So congratulations, Connor. Congratulations, Ethan, and all that, man. Yeah. And my condolences for the Kamar Asker,
the great Alvin massacre of 2020.
Yes,
Christmas.
See, neither me or Amigo can say it like Emo does because he played against it. So to him,
yeah.
Oh yeah. You know the meme with the Chihuahua and like the Vietnam War thing. That's going to be me whenever someone talks about Alvin Kamara from here on out.
And pretty much what the Amigo is trying to say is we're really smart and we know a lot about fantasy football, so you should listen to us. And another reason you should listen to us is because we have not one sponsor, but 2 sponsors of the show. Brian, you want to hit the first one, Maine?
Look at that smooth transition. That's like professional. Look at that. Right in there, dude. Of course, man. The pride of Sunnyside, dude. Yeah, that I always go there, man. Go first because I always want to talk about an app that you can get, Andrew B's vocal sounds, the Business Knowledge Broker Show, the Soul Brothers Show, What's on Your Mind with Aunt Boogie. Blame it on the Boogie, which is High Volume Music Radio. You can get our show also on there. And if you like funk, check it out. But also, I was listening to it yesterday, and Grapevine. You remember my band, Connor, that I mentored? Yeah, they had a few songs, so they actually played that on that station. So it's awesome. Local music. Yeah, so you get local music along with other type of music, so make sure and download the app High Volume Music Radio and check out their website highvolumemusicradio.com. Ethan, you got the next one, my brother.
Oh yes, Sports Host app. If you're listening to this show, either you're watching on YouTube or you're listening through the High Volume Music Radio app, you're a fan of sports, Sports Us app is a great community to get into where you can talk to other like-minded individuals who love sports of all shapes and sizes. They are not prejudiced against sports. Can you talk about ping pong on there, Connor?
Yes, you can, Emo.
Yes. Can you talk about disc golf on there, Connor?
I can and I do.
Ooh. All right. Everything. And then football, of course. I believe the Gut, you had a league there that you were a part of. So if you're fantasy football and you're looking for people who want to do leagues and be serious about it, Sports Us app is a great place for that. So make sure and download the app, join the community.
Nice, smooth, professional. Look at that, dude. The doc academia comes through once again. Nice. Yeah. So today we'll be talking about we'll be hitting on all the top news stories over the weekend. We'll be doing our Shooter Sees Fire on the 2020 rookies basically Shooter Sees Fire for 2021 draft. So we'll be reviewing those rookies, each position each week. But this week we'll be doing what we're going to be doing this week, Connor.
We are going to be going over a couple talking points.
Just what position?
Wide receiver.
Awesome. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Okay, then we'll also be reviewing each week. We're going to take each one of our draft strategies. Okay, we're going to talk about it. And it's a pretty cool name that Doc came up with, for this segment, which is Arsenal Analysis. I really thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, man. So we'll be checking out each other's analysis and see how that went. Is that right, Doc? Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, fair enough. That's
good.
No,
you should talk to your mom about it later.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, yikes. Yeah.
That's like I'm a doc. I'm going to be an analrapist.
An analrapist.
or a therapist. The rapist.
A new start.
Yeah. So Arsenal analysis. Yeah, we'll be taking a look at our arsenals that we built up, and just discussing the best moves and why we did what we did. We'll also be going over a segment called Lessons Learned, where we discuss the lessons that we learned in the 2020 season. That'll either help propel us to our first championship next year or bring us another one. So make sure, guys, to like and subscribe. All right, and just tell a friend. Don't have to tell everybody. Just one. Just tell a friend. So if you are entertained by three generational beefheads bantering about, please like, subscribe. Okay, you'll be happy that you did. All right. So guys, it's on to the news, and I'm really pushing this. I think the guys are lukewarm on this, but I'm not. This is it.
That's my favorite part.
Right? It's awesome, right? Yeah. So
that 4K quality here next time once I get my crap together. So
okay, yeah. So that's this theme song to the news section. So let's just go down real fast. But first, let's talk about the bell has tolled on and here are the casualties of Black Monday. The head coaches that were fired before the season ended was Dan Quinn, of course, Bill O'Brien, and since you forgot the soundboard, Bill O'Brien. So Ethan, hit it.
I was already doing it.
Matt Nagy.
Oh, hang on now. No, I think Matt Nagy's still around. But
no, wait. No,
Matt Patricia.
Right,
hang on. Yeah, we're talking about the ones that Matt Patricia that was fired before the season ended. So Matt Patricia.
Wait, he wasn't one of the. Can I just do it and then we just assume it's for all of them?
I'll do the last one. I'll do the last one because we have more, and I know you're getting tired.
Yeah. Go for it. Okay, so
there's one that got fired after the season.
Yeah. So the ones that got fired on Black Monday were Jacksonville's Doug Marrone, Los Angeles Chargers' Anthony Lynn, and the king of Black Monday, the Jets,
the B word himself,
Adam Gase. Go for it, Connor.
What
the hell is that?
It's like when I sing MASH.
Oh my God, that sounds
promises.
Like we need to give you some medicine for that. Yeah,
I always need medicine.
Yeah. So okay, but
lesson learned. Huh? So,
there you go. So there's gonna be a bunch of interviews going on, and we'll talk about the signings when they seem imminent or they come available. Like there was already one, which is a general manager for the Houston Texans. Any of you guys know who that is?
No, but this is what I do know. He is on record saying he does not like barbecue. So I already am. I'm done with him. I want a new one.
Okay. Do you know his name?
Don't need to. It's the guy that doesn't like barbecue.
Nick Casario or something.
Casario, yeah, from New England. That was the guy that they wanted last year. If you remember, whenever they did a quick fire, and that's why they put him into a weird situation.
Did you watch the
presser? Pissed off Watson by not involving in the decision, which is a bad move when you have a generational talent at quarterback and you gave away his number one wide receiver. You had a chance to rebuild with him in mind and let him be a part of it. And they Cal McNair is a clown. Dude needs to get ran out of town.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. All right. And so
I don't know. Did you watch the press conference yesterday?
Go for it.
Well,
it was embarrassing, dude. It was like it was almost like watching the White House briefings during the beginning of the pandemic with Trump. Like it was like bizarrely. It was just like, how does this guy have this job? How did he get this job? Right. And that's exactly how the press conference was.
And at the very end of it, he said, yeah, our players are going to have input, but at the end of the day, I make the final decision. So it's like, great, Bill O'Brien 2.0.
Yep, exactly right, yeah. On to happier news, though. Derrick Henry gained over 2,000 yards this season. And this year's rushing leader. He actually
was very pro Derrick Henry. We actually started beef with other shows that were anti Derrick Henry. So let it be known, we know more than all those yahoos who said Derrick Henry wasn't going to be great.
Well, let's just mention this real quick. I mean, like he was the second place rusher. The second place of this year. Dalvin Cook. I mean, he led him by over 500 yards. I mean, that's how awesome that of a year Henry had. However, the experience of Derrick Henry. Get you 40 points one week, 9 points the next week. The championship week, he only gave me like 9 points or something like that, dude. So that was the week of the championship. That's what he did for me, where would you go? Well, yeah, I had Diggs. I mean, the Lord blessed me absolutely.
That's also what happens championship week. You might have a guy that that busts or whatever, but like my championship week in 2019, I had Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews. So I had guys that busted, but I was good because both of those guys hit. Just like you were good because Diggs hit.
Yeah. So where would you put Derrick Henry on your draft board? Is he top three? Top three?
I think that the top three are easily, I think interchangeable, Kamara, Cook, and Henry.
Nice.
I think those were the three from the top 10 running backs that hit.
Wow.
I think that McCaff is a close 4. He might go 3 in some drafts depending on who you have.
I think that might be the value.
Last year, because I wouldn't take him 4. He didn't play like 3/4 of the year.
I know, but if you pay attention to his track record, he did that. What is it? 3 years ago, Brian?
Yes, that's right.
And the two.
I'm not talking about for next year. I'm talking about who I would have rather had this year.
Oh no, we're talking about next year. We're talking about next year.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about who I'd rather have next year.
I would have had Kamara, Cook, or Henry. I agree with you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I did want to mention though, because there was a little confusion there. I thought there was an interesting, a good opportunity to mention this. We'll probably say this a few times though, that with McCaffrey, he's a good bet, even though like if you're worried about his injury history, because there's exactly who's going to be his backup, who's going to produce high in the event if he's gone. Unlike like with Cook, you don't know who the backup is going to be. And like with Henry, you don't know who the backup is. If the backup's going to be, you don't know if he's going to produce as high. So, so that gives you a little bit of security in my opinion. Just make sure you get Davis, when you.
Yeah, I think Davis is going to become a handcuff now. Davis was not a handcuff in last year's draft, but this year, he's probably going to be someone you have to pick up if you're a McCaffrey owner.
Yeah, and don't pick him up if you are a McCaffrey. I don't know, dude. I'm thinking that might be something you might actually be able to get like in the waiver wire, because people will draft him and then they'll drop him like after a couple of weeks whenever McCaffrey's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't draft him. Okay, and. Connor, this kind of hits you in your heart because I know you have love for this guy, Josh Jacobs. arrested dude 4:00 in the morning on Monday morning for suspected DUI. Yeah. Do you think this is going to bleed into the next year? Suspensions by the NFL or the team or anything like that?
How do I put this delicately? This is
the exact the king
type
of delicate.
No, I'm not. This is the exact type of behavior that I would expect someone on the Raiders to engage in. So
is that Vegas effect?
Jacob, Gordon, because Gordon had something at the end of the year that he hasn't faced punishment for. I mean, that's definitely something you're thinking at least 3 games they're going to miss.
Yeah.
For Jacob,
means you might be able to get them at value. Yeah.
So keep an eye on that. This is something that was I just wanted to mention. I think it's over now. But this is something where Ethan wished this happened. Was it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? Alvin Kamara, testing positive for COVID.
God, it was like a couple days after.
Yeah,
he tested positive for Corona. I'm like, you son of a.
Yeah, exactly.
To be honest, no, I don't think that would have saved me. I don't think that would have, because he had other players, like he had players that just hit. Because he had Tyreek Hill and a bunch of others. He ended up scoring like 180 points.
Nice for him. And so, but he should be back. I've been reading a lot about Kamara. He's been taking video practices, but he should be back for this week's contest. So should Michael Thomas. Should be back for the playoffs. Yeah. So if you're playing DFS, Drew Brees,
Island man.
Yeah, Drew Brees is a good value. Okay, and how about this, guys? Let's end with this one. The conspiracy of Doug Peterson, the Phillies, head coach, replacing the dynamic rookie Jalen Hurts with a dynamic bench warmer, Nate Sudfeld, whenever the Giants needed Philly to win to get in the playoffs, I know my feelings, I know Giants fans are mad about it, but if the Giants would have won more games, wouldn't have been an issue.
Yeah, I think no one should. Yeah, it's like I don't want to hear the Giants complain, and it's not even that. Like the Eagles got a way better draft pick because of them losing the game. Like that's at the end of the day what I would do. Like, yeah, you should get a better draft pick. Why would you purposely give yourself a worse draft pick?
The only issue I have with the move is I feel like, you haven't had a ton of weeks to really get a good read on Jalen Hurts, right? Yeah. You need to see him taking reps. You need to see him in these games. And you missed an opportunity to look at a guy who's going to be your third string quarterback, assuming you don't dump off Wentz in the offseason. That it seems like a dumb move to make on my part because Hurts hasn't earned the job, I don't think. You know what I mean? He still has a lot to prove, and that would have been a place for him to prove it, and Doug Peterson didn't want to do that. Cue yakety sax.
Maybe Peterson gets in the room next year.
All right. Well, let's go and move on to the rookie, the shooter ceasefire for 2021 for the rookie class of 2020. Working title. Connor, you want to go ahead and take the lead on this one, Mike?
Yeah, so look, there were a lot of good wide receivers who, if you drafted them this year and you bet on them, they did you really good. Justin Jefferson, Chase Claypool, CeeDee Lamb, those guys all tore it up. Now, some of them tore it up more in the first half of the season than the second half, that being Chase and CeeDee. Jefferson was pretty consistent throughout. You had other guys. You had Jerry Jeudy. Ruggs, who I was very bullish on, did not do too well during this. You all right, Brian?
Yeah, I was plugging something in. I just figured it'd be funny if I came in that way.
I figured. Yeah.
Sorry.
So, Henry Ruggs wasn't that good, but he had spots of promise. And in a wide receiver's rookie season, that's what you're looking for because you're not expecting them to be consistent. I don't remember the chap's name on the Bears, but he was doing decent.
Mooney?
Yeah, Mooney. Thank you. Mooney near the end of the season. The Colts had a pair of rookies who showed promise in Paris Campbell and Zach Pascal, if I remember their names correctly.
No, Michael Pittman.
Michael Pittman, thank you. Michael Pittman and Paris Campbell.
Junior.
Michael Pittman Jr. I'm sorry, Michael Pittman Sr.
We all three put in on that.
Jalen Reagor was another one.
Jalen Reagor, thank you.
Ooh, how about that, dude? Like with Hurts, I meant Jalen Reagor seems to me like to be a better value than the tight ends in Philadelphia now.
And of course, I remember when we talked about that earlier in the year, Brian. I was like, Jalen Reagor might be a thing. So, and then he kind of petered out, but then he came back. Yeah. But then Hurts came in, and he was healthy.
And did you get T. Higgins too?
I was gonna say T. Higgins. Thank you. Yeah, who looked really good, and he ended the year on a strong note.
Mm-hmm. Pay attention to that offensive line. If they really fix that on the offseason, then that team is going to be dangerous next year.
Yeah, the Bengals' problem is they know how to draft running backs and wide receivers. It's the line and quarterback that they don't, and coaches that they don't seem to have figured out.
Burrow seems to be the guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, but
got another wide receiver out on the West Coast.
Oh yeah, who could forget about Mr. Ayukin?
Yeah.
Yeah. It took him a while for him to, but it also took like a lot of injuries. He was kind of like hit or miss this season because of injuries and then COVID, and then the
entire getting broken.
Yeah. Now this is great. This is great that we landed on Ayukin because now that we've mentioned all these guys, and if there's some other rookie guy that you feel like I'm forgetting, forgive me, we can bring them up too. But Ayukin, all right. I feel like he is the biggest question mark out of all the wide receivers we're talking about because George Kittle wasn't there all year for the most part. Mm-hmm. And we know that the Niners, they like to have like a couple pieces that they move through. So will Shanahan use Ayukin, his running backs, and Kittle enough for them to be fantasy relevant next year?
It's a very good point.
Go ahead.
No. You had a good rhythm, Doc. I felt it. Go for it.
I think in terms of like if I was going to prioritize everyone you just said, like guys that I want to get first, I think that's a good place to start with this discussion. Out of all those players, all those rookies, who would you take first in a draft? Who would be the one that you'd be willing to pay up the most for?
Jefferson.
Yeah, probably Jefferson.
That was going to be my answer as well. Yeah. I think it's pretty unanimous that, and it's funny too, because some of these other wide receivers, I think it's open to discuss how they might be the number one. They might be the wide receiver one for their team. And this is with a team where there is an established one, but now it's kind of 1A, 1B with Thielen, yet that's who we like the most. So I think that speaks to his talent and what the Vikings were able to do, even not kind of being a middle of the road team this year.
And a run first team too.
Yeah.
So I guess like one of the players that we might have underestimated was Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
Do you like that?
Also, it's worth noting that the Vikings defense wasn't as good this year, so they had to throw the ball more. And we know that the Vikings want to have a good defense, so that you see, this is why we're having this discussion. That might change next year. It might be a different Vikings squad.
Yeah, I have to say something right now. My lugs, guys. I did that whole rating all the defenses on the NFC and everything. I had Minnesota as number one. My lugs. That was on me.
Well, I had the Bears, dude, and I mean we all.
That was still better. At least the Bears are in the playoffs, big time.
That's very. It's at 8-8, or was it 8-7-1?
Yeah, well, whatever it takes to get there, man. Yeah, whatever it takes, man. Yeah, I did want to mention, though, on your point about Kittle and Ayuk, okay, before we get too far away from that, I wanted to make sure and tell you something that strengthens your point and your concern, is that on championship week, I started Brandon Ayuk.
I did too. It screwed me over.
Yeah, and that was because Ayuk was awesome this whole time. And then the first game that Kittle comes back, he drops a turd. I know he got hurt, but still.
Puke.
I believe that when the chatter of Kittle coming back, I think I said we might want to temper our expectations on Ayuk because they're talent at quarterback. All of a sudden, not all of a sudden, the person dishing out the targets is not great. And if now he's splitting those targets with someone, it ain't going to be good.
So I wanted to make sure and talk about that because I know we're going over the rookies, and you mentioned that, but I think that strengthens your point. So that has to be something we have to be concerned about whenever we're looking at drafting these guys next year. So I would drop. Ayuk is probably what you think, a 6th rounder, 7th, something like that, like a wide receiver 3,
at least 8.
Yeah. Okay. Wide receiver 3,
especially at the end of the year.
All the same coaching staff. There's not massive personnel changes. Mm-hmm. I'm not drafting him. I'm not paying that high for him.
No.
There's I think several other easy choices I would take over him and the rookies we just talked about. Not to mention like other wide receivers.
Yeah. What are the chances, Ethan? Do you think in the first 2 weeks that he'll be in the pool?
That's what I was just about to say. Is I would wait for him to be in the pool.
There we go. I should ask you, Connor. I'm sorry. Never mind. Forget you, Doc. Connor, what are the chances of Ayuk being in the pool?
Well, I think the chances of not only Ayuk being in the pool, but all these guys in the discussion, probably with the exception of CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson, could be in the pool.
CeeDee Lamb. We need to talk about that guy.
Talk about CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the big question mark is, will Dak Prescott be there next year? Because
and what will
Dak's
he be?
Boy.
What will he be? Because his foot, he got defeated.
Yeah, but he doesn't run the ball as much as people think he does. He's very much more a pocket passer.
So, he did in the game that he got injured. He did catch a touchdown.
I remember. I watched the play. Yeah,
I remember because he was my quarterback on my team that went to the championship, and that was such he was sustaining me for like the first 4 or 5 weeks.
Oh, that stinks, dude. That feeling. How did that feel, dude? Whenever you read about like his foot coming off his body,
I wasn't I got up to get a drink or something, and I come back and I see like carts out, and I'm like, oh dang, man, I wonder who that is. And then I saw who it was. It was like, it was the worst feeling in the world. I mean, the thing with quarterbacks, I didn't pay up super high to get him. And with a quarterback, it's easier to play. If you had lost your top running back, that is really hard to do. I ended up with Tannehill, and Tannehill was great in that league for me. But,
how did you do when you lost McCaffrey in that league?
I got Mike Davis, and at least for the immediate future, Mike Davis fell off, man. There was like a point at which I think the league figured out Mike Davis and he just wasn't relevant anymore, or maybe he was getting banged up and they were splitting the load with the other guy. I don't remember what his name was. It was like Boone or something.
It's always Boone. It's always Boone.
Bitch, that was his name. And that was ruining, that.
Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel, really.
Well, but there was another running back that he was split, not a running back wide receiver. There was another back that he was splitting time. I don't remember his name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, just Voldemort now.
Hey,
but
I keep the streak alive.
Sorry, brother. Sorry. Keep going, Connor. Keep going.
No. Okay. So we've done Justin Jefferson, Ayuk, and CeeDee Lamb, right? And currently the order.
Hang on, real quick. Question before we move on. Justin Jefferson, what round? 10-man league. What round?
Connor. I'm not going to address rounds right now because
wide receiver 1 or 2 then.
I think he's a wide receiver 2. People might draft him as a 1. That's just my personal objectivity.
It could be like a maybe give or take a round or 2. It could be similar to a Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley setup.
Yes.
Where, but like Julio Jones went in the first, second. Thielen's going to go in like the third or fourth. And I think Jefferson will go 1 or 2 rounds behind him.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would say Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Ayuk, right? You guys agree with that order?
I don't agree with Ayuk third.
Not Ayuk.
Oh, you guys would have Ayuk second, CeeDee?
No.
No. I'd have him a lot lower. Yeah.
No, not draft. I'm saying out of the rookie wide receivers that we've talked about so far, I'm ranking them in order. So Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb.
2020.
For 2021.
2020. Okay, yes, I'm right there.
We were talking about who we would take for 2021.
No. Okay, so for 2020.
No, I was talking about who we would take for 2021. You're saying you would take Ayuk before CeeDee Lamb?
No.
I would take Higgins before Ayukin.
T. Higgins.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, but we haven't talked about them yet. I was. Just
you're saying so far in the ones that we talked about.
Out of the 3 we've talked about, where I would rank them.
Okay. Serendipity. We found it.
We found it. Moving on. We're gonna cover T. Higgins. We brought him up.
Gotcha.
He had a good season. He did.
I feel you, Connor. I see what you're doing. I see how you're working. I see what you're building, and I love it. I smell what you're cooking. Let's do it. Let's do it. I see it. I feel it. I like it. So yes, I'm with you. I'm with you.
T. Higgins.
Jefferson, Lamb, Ayukin right now. Gotcha.
Okay. So now we have those 3. Now let's bring in Higgins. It's like those shows with the deadliest animals. It's like.
Well, then, because we're gonna adjust it.
Yeah, we're always gonna adjust it.
Yeah,
so,
I love it.
Speaking of things that are always adjusting, Higgins did not always have the same quarterback. He did not always have the same cast around him, and he might not have the same coach next year, but he seemed to prosper doing all of that, even when he almost injured himself trying to jump over a player. He came back a couple of weeks later, and he balled out, and that's what I like to see. Those are the types of players I like to invest in, I tell you what.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm right there with you. There was a time whenever he was like the hottest wide receiver pickup, on the waiver wire. Whenever Burrow was pumping and people started trusting him. And even with the running game, it seemed like Burrow really kind of keyed in on Higgins. So they obviously have some sort of chemistry that they're building there. And if you're looking for a good, strong wide receiver too, or maybe even like a flex. Dude, you can't go wrong there. And like I said, if they fix that line, I think that Higgins Burrow connection is going to be something that's going to be a little dangerous.
Yeah, especially since we might see Green move out during the offseason. Yes. That's to watch for, because if you see something change in the pecking order of wide receivers there, I think that's gonna might bump him up from a wide receiver 2 to maybe a fringe 1 this year. He could be a breakout guy next year if AJ Green gets moved out of the way.
Was AJ Green really that big of a deal though on him?
Well, no, but the thing is,
he took a lot of targets.
Yeah, and he's just playing the same position.
Didn't convert the targets. That's the thing.
Yeah,
because I remember some games watching him get the ball thrown to him, and he just makes minimal effort to catch it. And I'm just thinking in my head, if I was an owner of Tyler Boyd or T. Higgins, I'd just be pissed off. I'm like, that target was wasted. You only have so many targets in a game, and a lot of them got wasted on Green. He didn't really – you don't see it in the stats. But if you look at the targets, A.J. Green was a target suck.
So he was a target whore, and it's also worth noting that if you got him out, you'd have a much more streamlined offense because you'd have Joe Mixon coming back, Giovanni, you'd have Tyler Boyd in the slot where he belongs. Now T. Higgins is your outside threat every play. He's not splitting that with Green.
Who would you want more, Higgins or Boyd, Connor?
Oh, Higgins.
Wow. Ethan, feel the same way?
Man, I don't know. Yeah. It would depend on Green. It would completely.
No. Okay, let's say Green's out. Green's out.
I'll take Higgins.
Okay.
I think that question also depends on the league format.
PPR versus non-PPR?
Yeah. Wait, actually, no. I take that back because Higgins got a lot of targets like every game, so he'd still be better for PPR. So no, Higgins, straight up.
Okay, so let's rank what we have so far. So we have 4.
Higgins, in my opinion, I think we all can agree, he's knocked off the other 2 guys. It's Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, CeeDee Lamb, Ayukin.
Right there with you.
Yep.
Okay. Now.
Is Amari Cooper a restricted free? Is he a free agent?
That was going to be my.
He's paid. He's paid. Zeke is paid.
Okay. Yeah. Because I think I have a list.
Gallup?
Yeah, I have a list of
rookie deal.
Yeah. No.
Because he's still like a year 3, year 4 wide receiver. I want to say so. He might have like a year left. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, you're right. Gallup, neither Gallup or Cooper are on the the free agent list for wide receivers this week.
Okay, yeah, so that's not going to change unless a trade happens.
Right.
But, we'll have to play that by ear. But yeah, as things stand in Dallas, if everyone stays, definitely he gets bumped down to 3rd with T. Higgins.
Okay.
So, Chase Claypool. He did really good to start off the year. Yeah, he did really good to start off the year. And I personally really wanted to believe in him, and he's another guy that I started championship week, and it fucked me over, man.
you weren't thrown off by how just off the rails the Pittsburgh offense looked over, like, to me, that's what's most, I think, concerning moving forward is how, like, if we're talking about the first 3 quarters of the season for Pittsburgh, that offense, I would put Claypool probably second. He would bump T. Higgins down.
I agree.
But the remaining third or quarter of that season, seeing the Steelers offense just, I mean, it was pitiful, man.
It's very clear that the sins of the bathroom stalls have come back for vengeance against Ben Roethlisberger. I keep my own streaks alive.
That was a concern we had coming into this season was health, right? And obviously he was firing on all cylinders through the first 3 quarters, but there's a lot of talk about him being banged up, and that's why. But I mean, I don't know what him being banged up has to do with his receivers not being able to catch balls that are thrown directly to them.
Yes.
That doesn't seem to add up to me. So, where do y'all read into the performance the last third of the year?
I do, as someone who likes to think that I have a good feel for the Steelers as a whole. It makes me much less enthusiastic on Chase Claypool moving forward.
I think that there's actually a comparison between the two things, which was the falling down of the offense and also the injuries to the defense.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because when the defense was pumping, then that offense was awesome. Okay. And then whenever I'm a manager, or I was a manager of the Steelers and defense. And so I was scared on championship week whenever I played them. And the only reason why I played them was because I believe in in Phillip Rivers always screwing up on big games. I know that it was a dome team going to a cold atmosphere. I figured that the chances that the Steelers defense would do at least okay was at least high enough to where I didn't have to make any adjustments, which it worked out fine. They did okay. That's exactly what they did. But the point is that when the defense is pumping, I think that offense is pumping, and then putting an older quarterback on the field a lot, more than he's used to is not a good recipe, especially towards the end of the year. So I think that's probably what made Big Ben go into what would you say, small Ben? Right?
And I'm going to talk about another thing that hasn't been mentioned. The Steelers' running game stopped working.
Yeah,
they had nothing. Connor, nothing. Snell, nothing. Nobody.
But that worked to the advantage of the owners of their wide receivers through the first third of the year. No, first half, 3 quarters of the year.
Well, no, Connor was decent.
They had to throw the ball.
Connor was decent throughout the first half of the year in games. I know because I had him in my ESPN league. He wasn't good every league, but he would have like a game every now and then when he was good. So like he wasn't bad
he never won your league that week. He just delivered a decent game. I don't remember there being a time where he was like top 3.
No, but I mean, he would get you for what you drafted him for. But that's I digress. That's fantasy. That's not real football. We're talking about real football.
Connor, they stopped using Chase Claypool in the red zone.
If you remember, that was a big thing because he would get the sweeps.
Yes, yeah, and they stopped doing that. Why do you think that was? Do you think that? What's your thoughts on why they stopped doing that?
I don't know. Maybe that to me seems like faking the fake. It seems like, oh well, they think we're going to do that, so we're not going to do that.
You think they're going to fix that on the off season? Maybe maybe he'll be doing that more next season.
Pray to God they do.
What I'm leading to is that does that pump him up? Because right now we're talking about him being under Ayuk.
This is what I would say right now. For me, I'm feeling my take. I'm gonna say Justin Jefferson right now. Out of the 5 guys we got, Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Chase, and then CeeDee Lamb, Ayuk.
I would invert. I'd put CeeDee Lamb third, right, so far.
Ahead of Claypool.
Yeah, well, mainly because we're talking about 2021, and we're talking about Ben. Okay, what if he's not there next year? And you have Mason.
To that I say my lone art, because I agree with you. I think Mason Rudolph is trash. Mm-hmm. But my soul,
in all forms.
I think we're going to disagree about this because I know that you really believe in CeeDee Lamb. But I would say I think that Chase Claypool has less talent around him than CeeDee Lamb does, because CeeDee Lamb has to compete with Zeke, Amari Cooper, and Gallup. And Claypool just has to compete with Juju, Deontay Johnson, and James Washington, and Eric Ebron. All of those guys have big flaws in their game that I can bring up.
Mm-hmm. The other argument, though, in favor of CeeDee Lamb would be how piss poor the Dallas Cowboys defense was this last year. And it's going to be like, I don't know what they're going to do to turn that around. I mean, that's bad.
They started yesterday, which was they fired the defensive coordinator.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. That's a step in the right direction. But what we do know is that Pittsburgh has one of the top defenses in the league. And if things don't change, they're going to be a top defense, or they should be a top defense in the league. Dallas, we don't know what they're going to be. All we know is they've been historically not great.
Yeah, and I think both of you guys make really valid points. It's still January. And that's why I think it's good for us to probably keep doing these segments more than once for each position, because our opinions are going to change. And like we say on the show a lot.
We're doing rookies. We're doing rookies now. We could just do all wide receivers eventually.
That's very true, yeah. But we got to stay water. And flowing on down, another guy that we all saw put in work this year in a limited capacity was Henry Ruggs. Okay, in a very limited capacity, we saw the ceiling, we saw the floor, and we hope to see more from him. But he seems also to be the most injury prone out of all the guys we've talked about so far, and that's the issue.
Yeah, but man, if he can get over that injury thing, I mean, man, is he fast?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude! And just think if they get like a really good quarterback. Let's say if Wentz goes to Wentz but let's say Wentz gets his stuff together and he goes to Vegas. Like let's say
don't disrespect good quarterbacks by grouping them in with Carson Wentz.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that, but I mean, I think that we can all say that Derek Carr is inconsistent. That's the reason why it makes him bad, because he's had really good games, really bad games. If he had a really consistent quarterback that was like, let's say if Herbert was his quarterback, all right, I think Ruggs would be incredible. Well, let's call him Hugs. How about that? Let's call him Hugs. He needs a hug.
He's Hugs now. He needs a hug. He needs
a hug. So Hugs, I think is I think he's just scratching his potential. One thing we got to remember, guys, going into this whole looking at the 2020 rookies is this was not a normal year. They didn't have training camp. They didn't have, preseason. They didn't have any of this stuff. So by the time that, they were up to speed, it was like halfway through the season, something like that, So when you look at their numbers, they might be better next year, not only because they have a year under their belt, but also they'll have an actual preseason and, and everything like that, underneath there, and they'll be able to be conditioned well and adjusted. So with that in mind, I think that hurt Ruggs. I think that Gruden was trying really hard to push too much on him to make sure that he didn't make a mistake, because Ruggs was the very first wide receiver that was taken off the board, so I think that he was really pushing it, and the fact that it was like the first year in Las Vegas and new stadium and blah blah blah, like you said, the Raiders and all that, I think that was the issue. And that's actually, it was that thought process that made me make a mistake and not go after Darren Waller, because I thought that Ruggs was going to be so focused and so was going to be the number one target or something like that. Yeah. So, but I think that's what Gruden wants to do. So I think next year I would put him above Ayuk next year. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, I think the only way in which I could see a potential reality where Ayuk matches him or is worth more is like if you're in a full point PPR league, because Ruggs is going to be he's going to be the guy that gets the bomb pass, long score touchdown, versus Ayuk being like a jet sweep kind of guy, more in the slot.
Dude, it's a very good comp between Ayuk and Ruggs, because look at the setup. You got a great tight end that usually sucks up the targets on both sides, with Kittle and Waller,
and a good run game.
Yes. Yeah. So that's a really good comp. So now you're just going, talent versus talent, right there, so it's right.
I'm actually going to,
I would say that the 49ers lean more into the run game, which actually plays to the favor of Henry Ruggs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I agree. Agree.
Yeah, I would say that Ruggs still has a lower floor, but a much higher ceiling.
Okay, so rank what we've gone through so far, Connor.
So right now, And if you guys disagree with because I know that we have Chase in a different spot, Ryan, but just so we've done, 6 now? So Justin Jefferson is 1. T. Higgins is 2. I have Claypool as 3. Lamb is 4th. And then I have, so Lamb is 4th. Then I would have Ruggs as 5 and Ayukin as 6th.
All right. Okay. So you said who's the number 3?
Claypool for me.
Okay. Yeah.
You would have Lamb and Claypool.
Yeah. Same here.
Okay. Okay.
So I think that's going to be a permanent theme.
That will be a permanent thing. That'll be something we can talk about. And who knows? One day I might wake up and literally just have a feeling in my gut to switch with no news whatsoever, because that's how I work.
Yeah.
So yeah, stay tuned if you want to see that. These guys like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification to make sure.
Well, we still got some other segments we gotta get to, so let's get to.
Let me put these last 2 guys in, because these last 2 guys aren't really as important in my opinion, and we'll talk about why. Jalen Reagor and Jerry Jeudy. Now, Brian, I'm gonna give you the floor for Jerry Jeudy because I know you're feeling that.
Jerry Jeudy, yeah, man, that guy has all the talent in the world. I think the biggest issue he had basically was quarterback play. You know, so I think if he had a really good quarterback, or a decent, serviceable quarterback, I think that it would be that, and also the defense, because the defense in Denver got decimated right off the bat when Von Miller got hurt. Okay, then they started losing pieces, you know, and so they were just they were basically trailing, like putting out smoke and trailing, you know, oil, you know, the whole season. You know, they were just a clunker, you know, just sitting there, just rumbling along. So, but I think once they get this stuff fixed, I think that I think they decided they are going to keep Vic Fangio, so everything's going to stay the same. It's going to be the same coaches and everything like that. They just need to get a good quarterback, and if they are able to get that solidified somehow, some way, I think I talked to you, Connor. I think last show that I'm just putting it out there. Maybe that Aaron Jones goes to Denver. I think that's probably
tasty. That would be so tasty.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is going to happen, you know. And so let's say if you have Aaron Jones there, they fix the quarterback situation, the defense is better. I think Jerry Jeudy is going to be incredible, because that guy's a great athlete. And he was only able to show you what he could do because things were just so bad. And I'm wondering also, maybe the elevation might have got to him. Gets to everybody.
You know, the one thing to think about too is didn't they make a move with John Elway? Isn't John Elway not in the same capacity that he has been historically?
Yeah, he got fired via promotion.
Yeah. So to me, like, if you look at the moves that the Broncos have made at quarterback, they've only made one good move at quarterback, and that was picking a guy that everyone knew was a good move. Peyton Manning. Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh, I think you're talking about Tebow.
No. Well, John Elway picked Tebow out.
Yeah.
Tebow happened despite John Elway.
Mm-hmm.
But the only good move he made was bringing in a guy that everyone knew was a good guy to bring in. Every other, like, obviously the guy has zero quarterback whisperer abilities. Like, he's a great quarterback. He's a Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. Not good at reading talent. That's just not his thing. So maybe, you know, going along with what you're saying, Amigo, like, I feel like with him out of the way, maybe another set of eyes looking at a quarterback, and maybe being willing to move from Drew Lock and pick someone up. I think that could be great for the Broncos. And I think that the hurdle to getting that has been moved out of the way.
Yeah. I would hate for them to do something like, you know, trade for Gardner Minshew or something like that.
You know, with everyone getting pissed off at the Texans, Watson might be like, trade me.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, no, I don't think that's going to happen. I
would like to see him go to the Bears, because they always talk about how the Bears drafted Trubisky over Watson.
Dude, yeah. Well,
I don't want to see him go to anyone. That's not us.
I would rather see. I as a Texans fan, I totally get what you're saying, but I would rather see him go to another team and be happy and do well than stay.
Not me. Not me. I was happy to see D-Hop not make it to the playoffs, because I'm like, that's what you get for leading. That's what you get.
That's what you get, bitch.
Oh my god.
You can't be happy.
There's a little bit.
There's Jerry Jeudy. Okay, Jalen Reagor. Now, I actually am feeling kind of good about Jalen Reagor. So, you know, this list, I have my complete list, so I'm just going to read it out, then we can talk about it because I think that y'all are going to disagree with me just a little bit. So at number 1, the consistence numero uno, Justin Jefferson. We are all in agreement about that. T. Higgins, number 2. Chase Claypool at number 3. CeeDee Lamb, number 4. Now, Jalen Reagor is going all the way up to spot 5 for me because I'm picking up what he's selling. I'm investing in him, and I'm investing in Hurts. I think that the two are going to have a connection, and I think that Reagor, like Brian said, he's going to be the wide receiver 1. It's not going to be the Titans anymore because, Wentz isn't there anymore. At number 6, I'm putting Ruggs. I'm putting Jerry Jeudy all the way down at number 7 because Noah Fant and Courtland Sutton are coming back next year. And I know that everyone's talking about how talented Jerry Jeudy is, but I'm sorry, he's not more talented than Courtland Sutton. That dude is a fucking unit, man. The guy has baby head shoulders. You do not bet against baby head shoulders. And all the way at number 8, I have Mr. Ayukin.
All right, man. All right. And what was your thoughts on Rashard Higgins since we're talking about rookie wide receivers?
I forgot about him.
Yeah. Well, we didn't go through every single.
We got the Colts guys off the list too.
Well, yeah. Well, the Colts right now you can't because you don't know who the quarterback's gonna be next year. That's why they're off the list.
I don't think that Rashard Higgins is as good as his relative T. Higgins. That's what I'll say.
Okay, he's the best. Yeah. Well,
T is the better Higgins.
So in this case, T comes before R. Yeah.
Yeah, and who knows what's going to be like when OBJ gets back next year.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, and I mean, if anyone likes to spread the ball out, it's Baker.
Ooh, I can see a trade for OBJ coming for the Texans.
Oh, God, don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Speaking of putting evil, let's go ahead and move it right along. So we did our shooter ceasefire for the rookie wide receivers now. What do you guys feel?
Let's do the Amigos draft. Let's do that. Let's close it with the lessons.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So So basically, let's just go and talk about the.
This is Doc then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're doing. You're doing lessons learned, Brian, right?
No, I think Doc is. Yeah, Doc's doing it.
I am confusion. Carry on.
I am confusion. Yes. So basically, what I did is I'm just going to run down my list of who I drafted. All right. And whenever I'm going to pause for a second after each one. So if you guys have something to say about it, go ahead. If not, then I'll just move on because I have 15 of these things to go through. So my first pick, I was third pick. Okay, that was my slot. Was the third pick. So my first round, I picked Derrick Henry.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Right? That was one of the top 2 in my opinion that you could have picked.
Mm-hmm. Austin Eckler was my second round.
That was injury. That was a great pick. It was injury. That's what.
I'm not going to knock you for that pick either.
All right. How about this one? Third round, Kenny Golladay.
Yeah, I'm going to knock you for that one. I'm not drafting Kenny moving forward. He seems to be injury prone.
But I mean, you can't knock him for it because he didn't know that he was injury prone. I mean, the dude was a value at that point in the draft. How are we supposed to know that his hamstrings were just going to snap every week?
Let me be more specific. I drafted him as well. So what's really happening is I'm mad at myself that I drafted him, and that's how that's manifesting.
That's crazy. Yeah, he has a chance of landing in a really tasty spots, man. So next he's one to keep an eye on. He's a free agent, and I doubt he's staying with Detroit.
I agree.
Number 4, DJ Moore. All that hype, behind DJ Moore. I'll personally tell you that I got wrapped up in the hype. Because from the beginning, whenever we were talking about draft strategy, I was away from DJ Moore because I was worried about Robbie Anderson. I mean, truth be told, but the hype, like Connor talked about. One of the things he talks about is that this coming up here, he's not going to do as many drafts as he was doing this last time because he got mixed up. And just this guy's supposed to go in this round. So if I don't pick him in this round, then I'm a meathead. Whenever DJ Moore is more 6th round, something like that, 7th round, that's more of what he was. But I picked him in the 3rd or 4th, excuse me. 5th round, I picked Kareem Hunt. No, okay.
Yeah, I like
it. It was good through the first half of the year. I mean, You know, I mean, he was a solid flex play pretty much all year round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he ended the season pretty well, I think. Or yeah, number sixth round was DeAndre Swift.
Okay, which
you should have held
actually as the year went on, he was great. He was fantastic.
This one, like in the championship round, like I dropped him, like after the third week but I think I gave him a month. And I dropped him. But the guy that I went up against in the championship round actually played DeAndre Swift against me. Yeah. So I was like, oh my God, if I lose because of DeAndre Swift, holy mackerel. Yeah. But that guy also, he drafted J.K. Dobbins, and I picked up J.K. Dobbins. So there's a little bit of me that was like, maybe I should play him, just to play him against them and blah, blah, blah. But then I was like, no, Le'Veon Bell's going to score well, but no.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah.
I think before we move on to the next pick, I do think that, we talked a lot about trying to predict what would happen because of all the weird anomalies of this last season. I think you saw an even extended delay of rookies and their big, the come out, right? Games. You just saw that delayed another month because they didn't get that preseason. I think that's what happened with like Swift, is that you had to wait another month and it was up to you. But I think you ended up with a good move because you picked up James Robinson around that time. So if you swap Swift for Robinson,
that's what I did.
Good on you, bro. Yeah.
But that's only because somebody in this room, in this chat room, dropped James Robinson and said they didn't believe in him.
Sure. No, I didn't say I didn't believe in him.
He said he didn't believe in Jacksonville. Yeah.
No, I didn't. He wasn't performing at the time.
Okay. I think it was the second week, but whatever. Okay.
He wasn't performing.
I think I'm right, but it's not important. Okay, next one.
Okay. So number 7 was what I'm thinking was the jewel of my draft. But the one, my draft best value, best player of the draft, which was Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. So for all you assholes who auto draft after the first couple rounds, that's why you don't win championships. This guy won a championship because of something he picked up in the 7th round. You got to stay in it.
There you go. Amen, my brother. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then we'll go to number 8, which was Hayden Hurst.
And I told you he was bad.
Dude. I believed in it.
Man.
Yeah. Well, he started coming in at the last.
That's what she said.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Number 9, Tom Brady, 9th round.
That wasn't a bad pick. That was a decent pick.
No, yeah, but I ended up dropping him because it was frustrating because of I think I ended up later on picking up Tampa Bay's defense, and I was seeing a link between the defense doing well and Tom Brady doing bad, then Tom Brady doing well and then the defense doing bad, and so I had to choose between the two. And I think at the time I had it was after the trade for Aaron Rodgers, so I think that's. That made it expendable. I just got through watching. Sorry, man. Yeah. We don't have time for a rant like that. But let me just say, Rambo, you're not expendable. Let me just say that. Okay. Yeah, I just saw that movie. Okay, number 10, Minnesota's defense. Yeah, because I was like, man, this is my defense, not going against Arizona, not playing against the Kansas City. This was going to be the defense that was going to rule. And first game of the season, they gave me negative points. The worst thing. Yeah. Number 11, though. This is where I was getting a little cheeky. I got a little cheeky here. Number 11th round. I picked up Kerryon Johnson because my whole plan was to play Kerryon Johnson until DeAndre Swift
How'd that go for you?
It was going great. Until Adrian Peterson signed with Detroit. This was before Adrian Peterson came to Detroit. But if Peterson would not have come to Detroit, I think that might have been a good strategy.
Are you sure he was? It's
funny because my pick of
draft.
Yeah, no, it happened because remember I picked up Gibson, and then it happened after I picked up Gibson. So it was like I picked up Gibson around where you picked up Kerryon Johnson.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The trade happened, and it was like good for me, but bad for the Amigo.
Totally blew up my whole little cheeky thing. Yeah, but I think it would have worked. I think it might have worked. Yeah. But no, Kerryon Johnson. Ugh, boy, how about that, dude?
12.
How gone? 12. Ryan Tannehill. 12th
That was a
round.
good pick.
Mm-hmm.
You
it was
drafted
great.
2 good quarterbacks.
After you dropped him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, I dropped him again because at the time, Derrick Henry would do well. Ryan Tannehill wouldn't do well. And then Ryan Tannehill would do well and Derrick Henry wouldn't. So it was like, I felt like I wasn't winning any which way you looked at it.
We just did a swap-a-roo. I dropped Robinson, you dropped Tannehill. We just gave each other high-value players,
There you go. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, number 13, which was like probably one of the biggest disappointments of the season, Zane Gonzalez.
He's in the room now.
Dude, what the hell? And then he ended the season with back issues. I mean, come on, man. Number 14 was Dallas Goedert.
That was a great value, man. I think it's fantastic value.
Yeah. If you would have
sponsored by Walmart, this is the great value pick of the draft.
And then
that was Stephon Diggs. That was definitely Stephon Diggs.
No, that was name brand value. This is generic, mind you.
Oh,
yeah.
And,
you haven't tried very many great value things from Walmart, have you? It's not that good.
I was raised on generic. What are you talking about?
not Walmart great value. Like Hill Country Fair is a step above Walmart great value, in my opinion.
No. Well, yeah, I think what the problem is, Ethan, is that you don't have obviously the same budget as Connor and I do, because you're saying great value as, it's a great value. Connor and I, we eat great value brand food from Walmart. That's their Walmart brand.
Yeah. Dude, I'm saying like I eat generic food all the time.
I can attest to that. Our families ate generic food. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's how I was raised.
Weed you out.
I was raised on potted meat. Oh, I can't believe I ate that crap. Okay, yeah.
It's a different time.
Yeah, it definitely was. And my last pick is potted meat. No, well, about the same. Deshaun Jackson. Yeah, who was supposed to explode on the first week.
Out.
Yeah, but he was supposed to be the man going to explode on the first week. Like he was going to be incredible.
And his leg exploded.
Yeah, he came back, but see, actually, Deshaun Jackson, Connor, kind of his performance in the last game of the season, I think, or the last 2 games of the season, I should say, gives credence to what you're talking about, Jalen Reagor, because Jalen Reagor was drafted to take over that guy's spot, and Jackson did really well with Hurts. So I think that give them an off season. I think you're right. I think that Reagor is going to do really, really well. So out of all those guys that I drafted, out of all of those guys, I actually at the end of the season, there was only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that stayed on my roster. So 10 I turned over. Yeah, on that roster. So, so based on like that information, do you win in the draft, guys, or don't you win? Yeah, because Stephon Diggs is the one who got me the win.
Well, I think I think that's a perfect question. And one thing that I was just thinking about this. Out of the 3 of us, I would say that the Amigo is probably the most willing to drop someone that he drafted to play someone that's on the waiver. I think I tend to want to stick by the guys I drafted the most. I would say Doc's in the middle.
Yeah.
Because I kept a lot of guys that I drafted. I didn't win a championship, so maybe I need to take some of Brian's advice and stay more water.
Yeah, or just you have
won championships before.
Multiple.
I mean,
not just
one, 2 out of the 3 you played. Yeah, I don't think you should drop your entire strategy because of that.
That's right.
No, you're very right. I was being sarcastic.
Yeah. I think I won in spite of that, dude.
A lot of reasons why you won.
If you look at your draft, I mean, some of the guys that you dropped, you had to drop because they were just injured the entire time. You weren't playing them the entire time because you couldn't, and you can't read that in the draft, right? But if you look at the guys that like Henry and Diggs, like those guys sustained you. Those guys are the reason I think that part of the reason. I think it's a half and half. It is half the draft setting you up to where you don't have to have the waiver wire, but then you play the waiver wire effectively to maximize, because you're not just maximizing your own opportunity, you're keeping those good players out of the hands of your competition.
Right. You know? Exactly right. So that was my strategy. That's what I did that, and that's worked. That's what didn't work. I try to get a little cute with it. I think the one guy that I want, and this is one thing I think we should talk about out of whenever we each do this, like pick one player out of all the ones that you drafted that is like you must have.
I already know. Okay, you know who my guy. You guys both know who my guy.
Oh
is.
Yeah, J Train. Yeah.
Hey, don't take my thunder.
Yeah. But mine. Well, okay. Since I took yours, you take mine. Which would be mine? Tell me. Out of all those guys that I drafted, yep, you got it exactly right. That was my guy. Yeah. That's the guy that I meant.
Because he won you a championship, so you're gonna look at him, just how I will always see Alvin Kamara. Or how I always see Lamar or Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews, Lamar Jackson. I'm always going to see those.
Are you willing to pick him up in the second?
Jonathan Taylor? Yes.
No, Stefon Diggs. Are you willing to pick up Stefon Diggs in the second round?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially if you like whenever Connor and I were talking last episode, that if you look, like this is the time that you need to put down like who are RB1s, who are RB2s, who are wide receiver 1s, who are wide receiver 2s, because there's like that Eckler thing, like you're like, yeah, great pick in the second round, right? And then but Stefon Diggs like way outproduced Austin Eckler. Okay. And even like if he wasn't injured, he would have way outproduced. Let's say if it was Nick Chubb. Let's say if I had Nick Chubb instead of Diggs.
Diggs still outproduced Nick Chubb.
Exactly right. So yeah.
Yeah, produced Josh Jacobs too, which we all agree was
the reason why Diggs was such a value though. There's a reason why. You had no data. You had nothing to work off of. You didn't. Josh Allen was not an efficient quarterback. Stefon Diggs had kind of an odd outing with the Vikings. And so he's going to a brand new team with a quarterback who was inefficient. So it was a gamble. It was a gamble even taking him in the 7th round. That's why he was a value, is because no one had any way of even knowing how well he'd do there.
Yeah,
it was just a guess.
If you were in the Bills hype or not.
I agree with you, but I think the question was, would I take him in the second round? Not if Stefon Diggs was a value.
And the reason why he's taking him in the second round is because he's top 5.
Now knowing from what you know this year, would you take him next year? Yeah, I can. And that's the only reason I ask you that is because typically you are not pro taking wide receivers in the first 2 rounds. That's why.
Dude, oh my gosh. When Connor brought that up, like if you look to see who would you really draft as a running back in the first round, there's a lot more wide receivers that you should take in the first round.
Yeah, I noticed that because I've for the several years now the running back has screwed me, and I might do it again because if Saquon's sitting there in the 3rd round, I'm taking it.
Hold on. You said it screwed you. Haven't you won championships the last 2 years using that strategy?
Yes. Okay. Yes. But
that is literally the opposite of screwing you.
No, because last year I drafted David Johnson and Le'Veon Bell with my first 2 picks, and those picks screwed me. And the only reason I won was because I hustled my ass off all year.
You did.
If I
you can't. Maybe if you hadn't done that and you hadn't hustled as hard, you wouldn't have won.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like
it's all part of the process.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is maybe if I would have drafted another wide receiver, I wouldn't have had to hustle so hard.
Yeah.
But you won. That's the thing. That's what you can't get away from, is that you won. Why would you say I should change the way I went about it when you won?
Well, we will talk about that whenever we do Connor's draft. So how about next time we'll do your draft, Connor?
We'll get into that, yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, and we can discuss all that, and we can bore down to what we talked about, what went right, apparently, because of I won the championship. Now we're going to talk about again, Connor's saying what went wrong or whatever. Dude, I mean, if you make it into the playoffs, that's incredible. You make it to the championship round, dude, that's awesome.
Also technically, there was a rule change at the last second, so if that rule change didn't happen, I did look at the numbers, I would have been in the championship week. So
but you would have lost. You would have lost still.
I would have lost, but I would have been in the championship. So it's like to add what you're saying, stuff went wrong, but it was still a good team.
Yeah, exactly right. So we'll go and talk about that. So Doc, take the next we're going to go to lessons learned. Hit it.
Yeah, so every year at the end of the fantasy football season, you have to kind of, like they're talking about, you're like writing down the players who are good, so you don't forget what's fresh on your mind. You're not just reading the news and overreacting to hype and news. You're like, what did players do on the field? Because that's what matters, right? Of course, as players move around, that matters. The other thing you need to think about when it's fresh on your mind is, what did you do that hurt you? What did you do that helped you? What did you learn this year? So from the man who won the championship out of the three of us, what lesson did you learn this year?
Oh man, we already kind of hit it, dude. Either be more patient, or don't draft rookie running backs or rookie wide receivers. Yeah, because I mean, like if you think about like all the running backs that hit, the rookie running backs that hit, I'm sure what next week, Connor, do you want to do the rookie running backs?
Hell
you want to do that? Okay. Yeah, so we'll talk more about that. But if you look at the ones that hit, there were more that didn't hit until later in the year than the ones that hit right off the bat. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to draft a rookie running back or a wide receiver,
you have to believe in them. You have to be there for the long haul.
Dude, yes, it's a spot that's going to have to stay there. Like, don't give up on them. Period. Until, what do you think? Week 10, week 11, 12, Connor? Where would you say would
week
be the
12.
where you, week 12 is
no, week 4, week 13.
Week 13. Okay.
Week 13.
Right before the championship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold the line. Yeah. So that's my whole thing is that either you don't draft them, meaning that somebody will give up on them and you can pick them up in the pool, or if you do draft them, just be more patient with them. You got to let things develop, let things happen, let them grow to the game and all that stuff.
Or you can trade for them if someone picks them up and they don't do good and they're tilting.
There you go. See, yeah. So the point is just that's what I learned was a different approach to rookies, because that I always get excited about the rookie running backs, Connor. Every year the rookie running backs come out, I get super excited and everything like that.
Yeah, I remember when we were doing these shows, you drafted motherfucking 6 running backs on a team. Yeah, well, I was over here trying to get my second running back, and you're like, I need a third running back for my bench because of COVID.
It was a mock.
I know, but I was scared because I know Brian would actually do that with a real team. Like if he was left
look at the draft. I drafted a lot of running backs.
Did you
well, see, and 2 years ago, I drafted Josh Jacobs and David Montgomery, which was not good decisions. Oh, Jacobs was, Montgomery wasn't back then. But the point is I get really, really excited about rookie running backs. And so I need to make sure and remember this. I wrote this down into a book I have that I look at every year, to be more patient with a running back, with rookie wide receivers or running backs, or even tight ends, whatever, rookies. Don't give up on them. Connor says week 13. I'm a little bit more aggressive, but I probably need to learn to be more patient. Yeah, that's my rule, my lesson, my one lesson so far. So I imagine we're gonna do this each year, right? Or each time, right? It's gonna be a lesson as we go.
A lesson at the end of the show.
Yeah,
Connor.
Each time we go. Oh,
that all rhymed. That all rhymed right there. I don't know if you even did that, Connor.
Shit just happens, bro. I've had to learn to trust my gut, because I looked back and there were moments where there were moves where I made and I was like, okay, I know that wasn't a gut move. That was a cutesy move. Being cutesy, you can't do it. It's my kryptonite, is the cutesy. So I got to stick to my gut for 2021.
All right. And Ethan? Did you already say your lesson?
No. So my lesson, for the first time ever in fantasy football, I had multiple teams going in a year. And I try to have a different management style for all the teams.
Interesting.
In one of the teams, I stuck with my players that I drafted. I didn't chase waiver pickups. In another team, I chased waiver pickups. And another one, I did halfway in between. The one that I made to the championship is the one where my team looked the most like my draft. I had new players that I picked up, when players are out or injured, but that is the one where I did the best. And I think, to me, what I learned is that when I micromanage, when I overthink starts, when I every week I'm like, ooh, who's the new waiver? Ooh, that matchup. Ooh, this. And you're playing to that matchup versus the player that probabilistically is going to have the most targets. They have the job. When you move away, when you pivot like that, it can hurt your team. That was
I learned a word.
Yep. Yeah. It's I think y'all call it fake to fake, for my, I believe there was a week where I was like, you know what? I had Goddard. He was doing okay, but the matchup wasn't great. And Carson Wentz was not doing well. And I was going to chase some, waiver darling of the week. And I stuck with Goddard and it won me that week. Nice. And there were multiple instances of that. Like, do I sit Diggs? Do I do this and go for this other person because of the matchup? And I didn't do it, and it worked in my favor. So that was my
Diggs versus Pittsburgh comes to mind. Yeah,
yep, exactly. And what happened?
Yeah, Diggs was awesome.
You were happy.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and just land this show, man. Okay, so so now we're now on our off-season schedule, everybody. So you'll be getting a new show once a week now instead of twice a week, and we'll be discussing like NFL news, fantasy football strategies. Going over the drafts, going over the rookies, all types of stuff.
It's going to be on Saturdays.
Yeah, it's Saturdays, exactly right. So Connor, he's in fact, maybe we can go ahead and make sure and do a thing where we upload it on Sundays, kind of keeping the whole football Sunday
we can
theme
do
going.
that. We can do that.
Yeah, let's do that. So you'll get a new one.
Do that cute thing where it premieres like at a certain time.
Yeah. So every Sunday, so you still get some sort of football every Sunday. Keep you going. I like that. I like how it working. Yeah. So Connor, again, another thing about Connor, he's a good example to me. That's, I think, something that everybody needs to keep in mind, that as early as 2 days after the championship game, he was discussing with me the draft strategy. So it's never too early to get ready.
It's a lot, baby.
Dude, it's a lot easier to keep a blade sharp than to let it get dull for 6 months and try to feverishly sharpen it moments before 0 hour. Yep. So let's keep that blade sharp. So then let's go ahead and Ethan, if they were entertained by 3 generational beef heads just bantering about, sir, what should they do?
They should smack that subscribe button, click the bell icon, make sure and click all, so you get notifications for all of our videos, not just some of our content. And just like they said, make sure and tune in on Sundays. We got new stuff coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, tell a friend. You don't have to tell everybody. You don't tell a lot of people.
Tell the dumbest person in your league, because no one likes having that one guy in the league who isn't paying attention. If you could boost him up a couple levels, fair advantage. Think of it like a handicap. Not actual like in golf.
Yeah. Okay, like in golf. Okay, yeah, we're not a handicap.
Like in
golf. Wow. There we go, and that's what you get with the show. Connor, how about in a danger to hurt and embarrassing our supporters? How would you talk to the 2 sponsors of our show?
Well, I'm gonna start with the one that I like to hit because I've been a part of it for so long. Sports hosts, you know them, you love them. The Global Sports Host community, and I just want to thank them for letting me be a part of Fantasy Football Championship, and they do all fantasy. They're doing basketball right now. Me personally, I'm not a fan. If you love basketball, that's your thing. Go in there. Sports Host. Download it. Link below.
Awesome. Awesome.
You want me to do the other one?
Yeah, man. You're on a roll.
The Pride of Sunnyside. Brian, tell me about some of the shows they have.
Oh, my God, dude. Well, they got us. I mean,
they got
that.
Us.
Okay, yeah, you got that. And you have Andra B's Vocal Sounds. You got the Business Knowledge Broker Show, the Soul Brothers Show, What's on Your Mind with Aunt Boogie, and Blame It on the Boogie.
So there's a lot of different information there. I mean, there's business information, there's sports, there's commentary, there's music, there's everything you need in one app, and it's all locally based and it's free. Need I say more? Download it in the link below.
Yeah. And we're gonna keep you going, Connor. Talk about your book, man. You got to get it out there.
Oh my
dude.
gosh, thank you. I'm forgetting. You Know Too Much, based on the true story of a former college athlete and Olympic athlete, Alvin Jackson. Know how he learned mentalism and how he overcame a lot of his problems. He was an orphan. It's a really interesting book. Download it below in the link below. It's only $4 ebook.
Ebook, okay, like Kindle and
Kindle. Yeah, I'm currently working with Kindle. I have a deal with them, so that's the only.
Yeah, it's a good start. All right, well, let's do our parting shots. Ethan, parting shot, my brother.
Like you said, don't stop paying attention. Don't stop thinking about your strategies. the difference between last year and this year, where it was my first year in a championship game, was I paid a lot of attention during the off season. So that's a great thing to do, watching shows like this.
Connor?
Write your feelings down, because you never know when you're going to forget them, and it's much better to have them written down.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's always a smart thing. Yeah, and that's from an author. Write it down from an author. Yeah. Yeah. So my parting shot is, of course, I'm always going to try to work MASH in as much as I possibly can. So I'm going to go ahead and paraphrase the beloved Colonel Potter. Here's to the new year. May she be a damn sight better than the old one, and may we all be safe and well before she's over. All right. Yeah. So on behalf of Ethan, the Doc Marshall, and Connor, the author Marshall, and me, your humble MC, Brian the Amigo Baldwin, we want to thank you for watching, and we hope that this year is a damn sight better than the last. So, So Doc, help me out with this. Remember, everyone, in fantasy football, as in life,
don't dream it, be it.
Yeah. All right. Enjoy your week, guys. See y'all next Sunday.
Bye-bye.